Business is just a game of numbers. Good morning and welcome to In the Car with Clint. I know that's a pretty basic sentence, but let me expand on what I mean. And I'm going to talk to you today about techniques that we use to break down the numbers so that business becomes bite-sized chunks. So, if you have a business that you want to turn over $1 million per annum, as the business owner, you can split that into one sale of $1 million. You can do 10 sales of $100,000, or you can do 100,000 sales of $10. And depending on your market and what you're selling and your docket average, etc., getting into the mindset of starting to chunk these things down makes the growth of a business much less stressful and a little bit easier to understand. So, you know, for our business, I'll talk about Waterpro specifically. So Waterpro, if it has a budget of say $10 million, that $10 million gets divided up firstly into months. And so we look at the historical sales, and if you've only just started out, you're going to have to probably make some assumptions, but we look at the historical turnover on average for the last 3 years, and we might say June and July might be 6% of the total year, and then we might do October and November, I think it's about 11%, because the weather, our business is quite tied to the weather. So when the weather's good, we sell more stuff. And once you've done that, you now go, okay, well, we've chunked it down to months, let's chunk it down to days. So we graph our sales every day, and we know that for, you know, a $300,000 month, we need to do $10,000 a day. To do $10,000 a day, we need to do this much per hour, and so on. But then we get even more micro and go, the majority of the business that we do comes from business to business relationships. And so we say to ourselves, if we need to do $300,000 a month, how much work do we need to be quoting a month to win that? So we might start to understand our quote win-loss ratio and go, okay, well, we quote, for every $1 million of work we quote, we win $700,000. Okay, cool. So now we can take that knowledge and go, for us to do $300,000 in that month, we need to quote, I don't know what the number would be, 600 and something, what was it, $1 million down to 700, so 70%. So we need to quote, say, 500,000 or 550,000 or whatever it might be. And if we do that regularly, then the law of the numbers that we've talked about will dictate that we're going to make $300,000 in turnover. Then you can take that information and go back to your sales team and go, all right, what do we need to do to get the ability or the right to quote $550,000? I don't know, I know that number's wrong, per month. Well, each customer of this size quotes this much, each customer of this size quotes this much. And so it's very simple on a single sheet of paper to sit down and work out whether or not your desire to grow your business to 1 million or 10 million or $100 million is practical based on all of the things that you know about the size of the people that you deal with, how much they spend, the average win-loss ratio for your quotes, the margins that you're making. And when you do this, you can go through this process and you can understand the practicality of the goal, and then also what actions that you might need to take as a director or a manager or a salesperson to achieve those goals. And once you lay this out, you can communicate this with your sales team, and they'll go, oh, okay, that's cool. So I have to call 10 new clients a day and get a meeting with 4 and get the opportunity to quote 1, as long as that one quote is worth $50,000. Yep. Oh, okay, cool. That's pretty easy. And then you can get an idea of if that's practical. And if it's not, then you're going to need to make changes around your business. So you might need to open more locations. We're getting at that point now where we've exhausted our desirable market. We've probably only got another 1 million or 2, I think, that we can get in South Australia with their current location. So we either need to acquire more locations, open new locations, increase our product range, so maybe move into other markets, or go into state, and that's it. So I know that's a 4.5 minutes of making it sound pretty simple, and it is. It's really simple. You just, once you chunk it down, it becomes less overwhelming and much easier to process. And you can do this in any business. You could do this in landscaping, you could do this in selling burgers at a McDonald's. Whatever it is, you work out what your numbers are, you work out what your desired sales are, and do the reverse engineering. The rest takes care of itself. That is it. Thanks for tuning in to In the Car with Clint today. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to each other. Most importantly, be kind to yourself. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.